It's day 8 at Roland Garros, and there's been some really good matches today, especially on Chatrier. We had Aryna Svitolina defeating Paolini, followed by Iga defeating Rybakina, and then Carlos Alcaraz defeating Ben Shelton. 3 of the best matches of the day. We'll speak about them and all of the other action.
Another day of Roland Garros action is over, and we had a fantastic matchup that we were anticipating, and we were all thinking the downfall of Iga Swiatek was going to happen, but she turned up today, and the 4-time champion dug in when it mattered, faced adversity, and came out on top. She knocks out Rybakina, and when she's in this form and she has this will to win, Iga, you have to ask yourself, who can really stop her? And we had other matches, fantastic ones. I thought the women's today overshadowed the men's matches, to be honest. Obviously, we had the Alcaraz Shelton one, but I thought that the women's were so hard to call that it made all 3 of them exciting. I thought the Saba one was close in the first set, but the second set, I always knew she was going to seal it. Where should we get started? I think we should start with the first match of the day. Do you?
Yeah, let's go straight for that one. I was going to speak about Iga, but we'll save that for a second and go straight into the opening match.
Okay, brilliant. And so the first match obviously was Aryna Svitolina, and I thought it was just an absolutely crazily good performance to come back from 3 match points down and then take the second set. Paolini, well, she nearly had it wrapped up. She nearly had it done in straight sets. But that's just the fighting power of Aryna Svitolina. She never gave up, and she played some fantastic tennis and really just took over in the third set. Paolini looked downhearted, and she just couldn't hang in there in the rallies anymore. The shots were just, the unforced errors were just flying off the racket, unfortunately for her.
Well, Paolini was coming into this one with the longest winning streak on the women's tour at the moment. She is the red-hot player on the clay, and we thought she had the credentials to go on and win this tournament. I think now it's safe to say that Svitolina can certainly do that because there was no excuses for Paolini after the match. She said she was beaten by the better player on the day. She had a little bit too much in them big moments, and there was plenty of big moments. She played them fantastically today, Svitolina, and that was the difference in the match. Because for me, the first part of the match, Paolini was marginally better, and she, on another day, would have had this match won. I've sent you a nice graphic, and you can see there's 4 different score lines at different points of the match, where you'd look at it and you think you've got a good chance of closing it out. We've got match points in there, 5-3 up in the second, 4-1 up in the second, but just couldn't close it out. And I think that's a lot of that is credit to Svitolina. She had this never die attitude, something which Iga spoke about after the match. I don't know if you saw it on the court. She didn't know who she had next in the match. She thought it was Paolini, but it wasn't. It's Svitolina. And she was saying that she's got a never die on the court attitude, which you could probably say similarly for Paolini as well. But Svitolina, I think, is a very good player, and she had a very, very good performance today. And when you've got players who I think are relatively close in terms of ability, it then boils down to who's going to perform on the day in the moment with the pressure. And Aryna Svitolina just managed to do a little bit better today in the big moments.
Yeah, she definitely did. It was just pivotal. That tie break was so close. It was so nervy. And as I was watching it, it was almost like that typical scenario. As soon as Svitolina was behind, she was playing brilliantly and hitting winners and really bringing the aggression. As soon as she went in front in the tiebreak, she was defensive and started losing, and then Paolini came back. And then it was the opposite way around. And it was just eventually she managed to just harness something to get that tiebreak over the line. I was impressed, but it was very, very on a knife edge, that tiebreak. So it could have gone either way. She just did well to win when she was in a losing point. She brought out her best tennis when she was down match point, essentially. And not many players do that. So credit to her. She's through to the next round. And she's, well, what do you get? A lot of thanks for going to the next round. You get the reigning champion, the 4-time champion in Iga Swiatek, who's just defeated one of her biggest rivals on the tour in Jelena Rybakina. And she got breadsticked in the first set as well. And you thought, oh my word, what is going to happen here? Is Iga going to get pummeled out of the tournament by Rybakina? And did you see there was like a post-match interview that she did. She said she thought that she was playing Yannick Sinner in the first set. It was that level from Rybakina. It was incredible.
Yeah, Rybakina turned up, and I was thinking, I'm not surprised. I think I was looking forward to the podcast tonight, not because of me. I didn't want to have to gloat about the fact that I thought Iga was going to go out, and I do like Iga. But I just wanted to come on here and be like, yeah, I told you guys, Rybakina was going to beat her. And I was confident that was going to be the case after the first set, and especially the start of the second, because she was 2-love up there. Even in the third, there was times I was thinking, okay, Rybakina, I think she can close this out. But it was a classy performance, and Iga deserved the victory. It was a very close affair. I think she's not at her best, and this is nowhere near the best level of Iga. But despite that, it was able to beat a very good Rybakina today. So you've got to be looking at it thinking that she's got real chances now to go on and win the title. She's got out of that really tricky section and navigated it quite well. She can't avoid a potential collision for a Sabalenka in a semi-final. But we've still got another round to go yet to be speaking about that. Quarterfinals is not going to be a given, especially after the performance we've seen from Svitolina today.
Yeah, it wasn't without like a mental struggle as well. I'd say that she did so well, Iga, today, just because must have been so much going on in her mind, especially after getting breadsticked in the first set. The second set, she came out and she actually did the good thing that a champion does. She came back and won the second set convincingly, but in that third and final set, she was trying to pull ahead, but Rybakina kept pinning her back. And then there was one pivotal moment. I thought, is this going to be the thing that we're going to remember this match for? It was at 4-all. I actually put a tweet out for it. It was a huge decision by the umpire. It was 15-40. And then it was called out, the second serve of Rybakina. And both players walked to the seat. And they both thought, oh, that's it. That's a break for Iga. She's going to serve the match out. Umpire came down, even though they weren't on the court, looked at the mark and said, no, that's in. So we're going to have to, she gets 2 first serves now. And she came back and she held serve after that. She won the next 2 points, went to deuce, held serve, and then Iga was then serving to stay in the championship. It turned the tables completely. So to hold your nerve after something so dramatic like that happening at the end of the whole entire match, that's more credit to Iga. I think we have to give her, even if she's not playing her best tennis, mentally, she's doing something right in this tournament. And that's a worrying thing for everybody else, because she's, got rid of a few demons, I think, by beating Rybakina today. And it was a struggle, but she got through it.
It might be the catalyst to change her season around. It might be the extra gear she needed to click back into the Iga we know on the clay, which is a complete beast.
Yeah.
And I don't know. After today, I would say that maybe she is the favourite for me over Sabalenka, even because she's navigated a very tricky little section and got through it unscathed. I thought this match was going to be her undoing, and her coming through, I think that potentially means that she's going to be better and better with every round that passes, with more confidence. So, great day for Iga. Do you want to stay with the women's or move to the men's?
Yeah, one more, I'd say, on the women's. I know that people are going to be mad that we're not speaking so much about Sabalenka. She has been winning pretty convincingly, but Kim Win-jung, She went through, but that was a very big test. She won the first set, which could have gone either way against Samsonova. That one was so close, that tie break. And Samsonova, I think maybe she edged it and was maybe the better player in the first set, but she stole the first set. Then she sort of took her foot off the gas, and Samsonova steamrolled her in the second set. But then I think the experience came in for Kim Win-jung in the third set. She just played the better tennis. Samsonova was a little bit too many unforced errors, a bit more all over the place, and Kim Win-jung was more clinical. And now she faces Sabalenka again, and this is the big matchup. Saba would not want to face her out of anybody. I think either obviously Iga, people like that, but at this stage in the tournament, this is the nightmare draw for Sabalenka. For me, it's an absolutely like popcorn match. Can't be missed, this one. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to Gary, who's a loyal member of the Game to Love family. He supports a lot of our episodes. So shout out to you, Gary. And I know you were saying we should speak more about Saba and how well she's playing. And I actually watched part of the match today because of you, Gary. Because usually I struggle to watch too much
Same.
of it because it's just too dominant. I find watching her at times you lose that special part of a match where you're not sure what's going to happen. It just feels always inevitable. And if she struggles with a bit of serving and she gets frustrated and collapses, then you feel like, oh, this is getting a bit interesting now. But then you just start seeing the thunder in shots, and she hits it harder than anyone. I mean, it's like watching Yannick Sinner. She could hit with Yannick Sinner, I feel. I've never seen someone as powerful as Aryna Sabalenka. And there was moments the ball was just crushed past Anisimova. Nothing she could have done. And for that, it is sometimes breathtaking, but a bit boring, I find. I just find, because she hits it so hard, it doesn't give the opponent any chance to get anywhere near it. And people say, oh, well, do you think that Yannick Sinner's boring? I think the difference is when he's thundering it, there's still that possibility that some of the players do get rackets to it, and there's a little bit more uncertainty whether the point's over. With Saba, you just know it's over every time.
She's very well, we know she hits harder than most of the men. Like, that's why you know that she has crazy power. Yeah, I did the same. I watched this match in part. I'd say the back end of the first set. I watched pretty much the whole of the morning session, and then we got to Saba. I was like, it's getting a bit tasty, because she was actually, Anisimova was coming back, and I thought, oh, this is actually getting a bit more entertaining now.
Yeah.
And then Saba won the first set, and I just thought, yeah, I don't see Anisimova coming back from that. I think that she's going to win it in straight sets, and she did. And that's credit to her. I mean, it's credit to her that we see her as that dominant, really. Look, this stat I put on the screen has reached 10 consecutive Grand Slam quarterfinals now. The only time she hasn't reached a quarterfinal is since the US Open 2022, when she did not play Wimbledon in 2024. I mean, well, you can't really include that, can you? That's just how consistent she is. So really,
She's the opposite to Sakari.
We'll start talking about Sabalenka in the quarterfinals. So don't worry, Gary, you're going to get your wish. We're definitely going to be speaking about Sabalenka a lot more. Will she stay in past the quarterfinals, though, is the big question. We're going to have to give some quarterfinal predictions. And obviously, Kim Win-jung's my champion of the tournament. I'm a bit worried for her, because the power is so unpredictable with Sabalenka. And who knows? She could just get blasted off the court like everyone else. But the mental side is the thing that
beat her recently, though. She beat
exactly.
her recently.
It's always up there.
Tennis
Tennis is up there, isn't it? So that's the thing that Saba always struggles with, if she does struggle. So I'm banking on that.
Yeah, let's move to the men's, and I think you could make a case for two of the matches to be matches of the day. I'm going to go with Carlos Alcaraz, Ben Shelton. I think it just sort of edges the Musetti Rune one. Plus, I'm biased because I saw more of the Alcaraz one. I didn't catch all of the Musetti one because I was travelling. And Carlos Alcaraz Shelton delivered on every level. I thought Ben Shelton was sublime today. He can leave there and be very proud of his performance, in the fact that he didn't really put a foot wrong. I thought he was fantastic and he looked great on the clay. He was serving well. He probably should have won that first set. I thought he was slightly better than Alcaraz.
Yep.
But Alcaraz has just something special. He's a special kid, and there's no doubts about it. The longer a match goes on at this Grand Slam level, he gets better because I feel his body's just able just to keep going. It's not like a few years ago. We remember we watched him against Djokovic and his legs gave up and he was struggling to deal with the pressure of it all. Yeah. This is a seasoned professional. This is a seasoned top elite athlete who can beat every single player on a tennis court, including Yannick Sinner, multiple times. So Ben Shelton can leave, I think, very pleased. He managed to grab a set, which I think was great. And every single set was in the balance. You didn't really know what way it was going to go, but Alcaraz just did the professional thing he did in winning them crucial moments. And now he's got through another big hurdle. But I think the next match is not an easy one. And everyone's saying, I remember Zverev said yesterday, he said, if you look at Alcaraz's draw, he said, I'm confident Alcaraz is definitely going to make the final. There's nobody there who can beat him. The reason I think that's a silly comment to make is because Tommy Paul is someone who I think pushes Alcaraz more than most players on the tour. And despite Alcaraz having a very good head-to-head against him, there was that time he beat him, I believe, in Canada. And we've seen recently where he took a set off Yannick Sinner to show you that Tommy Paul is no mug, and I would not want to be playing him in the next round if I'm Alcaraz. I believe he would much rather, and this is crazy to say, a Musetti. He would much rather a Tiafoe for sure. And these are the other players who have gone through. So based off that, he's probably got the hardest player from some of the potential ones on his side of the draw next.
Yes, it's a strange one, isn't it? Like, obviously, out of all the players that you could pick, I don't think he would want Tommy Paul because Tommy Paul does give him a challenging match most times they play. Ben Shelton.
I'm not saying that Musetti's worse than Tommy Paul. I just feel like he's got. Would you agree? Alcaraz has got more chance of beating Musetti than Tommy Paul.
Everyone's always improving, but I know that Alcaraz has beaten him more recently than he has beaten Tommy Paul. I know what you mean. I think that Tommy Paul has a different mentality. I think it's difficult to say because Musetti's growing as a player as well. Who knows? This version of Musetti might be better than the last one he played, or he might have a bit more firepower. I think the match today against Ben Shelton, I know it's competitive, but there is sort of this thing in the back of my mind where I always sort of knew he was going to get it done. But the caveat, Ben Shelton, I was watching him today, and I've watched him in recent matches, like against Yannick Sinner as well. He's one of the only players. He's sort of similar to a Draper as well. I'd put him. He's get close to what Jack Draper does on court. Not quite as good as what Draper does, but he hangs in there and rallies with these big players like Yannick Sinner. I've not seen anybody when Yannick Sinner was just on that ridiculous run. No one could even match him in a rally. Shelton could, and he was actually hitting winners at the end of long rallies. He can't sustain it for a whole match, but if he could, there is a chance. He needs to improve like the consistency throughout a whole 5-set match.
Yeah, but that's why I was saying when we had all that drama with the Djokovic saying good night and mimicking Ben Shelton celebration. Was that the year before he did that? I forget. That was all a bit of a blur. But I was always saying that he's an entertainer. And Ben Shelton, I believe, in this current generation of players, is one of the most exciting players to watch because he can hit big. Yep. It's different kind of shots. There's the spectacular in there.
Yep.
And he brings the best out of Alcaraz and Sinner, where you get to see matches which are very watchable. People on Saturday would have loved this match. I think it was the perfect way to end things off there. it entertained them on every single level. A close match with some fantastic shots and good moments. I love the one where he sort of whipped a forehand past Carlos Alcaraz. There was a bit of sportsmanship in there from Carlos Alcaraz where he threw the racket. And by the way, there's a few things to speak about here. He threw the racket, managed to hit the ball, and it landed over and in. Ben Shelton just assumed that it was a fair point, and Alcaraz went to the umpire and said, "Oh no, it left my hand, the racket." Very kind of him to do. He said he would have felt guilty if he didn't say anything. It was an illegal shot.
Insane.
But my thing I was going to say is, how do you even do that? Do you know how hard it is to throw a racket, hit the ball, and then
win
it land in and win the point? And I think that is just a credit to
look at this,
the magician of what he is. Look at that. I mean,
I tried to do a freeze frame for you just so we could prove that he did leave his hand.
Point, isn't it? This is look at this. This is incredible.
Ridiculous. And the fact he was
Have you ever done that position on a tennis court?
Well, look at that. I mean, it looks like he's doing like some sort of yoga pose. I don't think I could even make that pose. It was such good sportsmanship. But the thing about this match, that he can just give that point away, and then Shelton's like, what's going on? He was just looking around like, why am I getting the point? And then the umpire announcing it, and everybody's a bit like, wow, what a great sportsman Alcaraz is. Then you see them, this whole match, they're just sort of chatting to each other. I think Alcaraz and Shelton the whole way through the match. They're coming at the changeover at one point, and I was sort of half watching and half working on something else. At one point, they came to the net, like after I don't know what it was. It was just a changeover. I thought Shelton had retired. They were like, just like sort of like arm in arm at the net. I was like, what? They did? No, and they just walked to the chair. Alcaraz slapped him on the bum, and then they walked and sat down. I'm like, what's going on? Is this real? This is like when you get two boxers who have too much respect and keep hugging during the middle of a boxing fight. Too much respect. But they obviously like each other. They love playing each other because it's fun. Maybe Ben Shelton, if he loses too many times, that fun side will go out the window. But I like it. But yeah, there needs to be a bit more of a rivalry there.
I'm sure it will with time. But one thing for certain, everyone's entertained, and it's a spectacular shot. This one of the best of the championship so far, despite it being illegal. But definitely a moment to discuss. Let us know what you thought of it in the comments section below. Musetti, he beat Holger Rune, which on paper you could say would have been a difficult match. He's never beaten Rune before. Rune beat him the last two times they played. But it's safe to say this is a different Lorenzo Musetti. He's put a lot of hard working over the years, and now he's manifested it into a consistent, hard-earned results, the tennis letter writes. His first Roland Garros quarterfinal, 18 wins, 3 losses on clay in 25, and his 5th top 10 win of 2025. Playing big, dreaming big, and another Italian who, let's be fair, he's inside the top 10. He is a top 5 player in the world on clay. I don't think anyone can dispute that. Is he better than Casper Ruud? I feel like that's kind of the level he's at. I would say he is marginally better than Casper Ruud right now. And I am, despite saying that, concerned because I don't think mentally he is as strong as everyone else. I think technically and mentally he's improved so much. But do I think he goes on and beats Alcaraz, Sinner? I don't. I just don't think he can beat them two right now. I would like to see him against Draper because I think that one could be quite fun on a clay court, not on other surfaces, but on clay. I think that's a very even playing field, and probably that is the matchup. Draper's a good player because right now he is a player you just want to put against different people to see the level of Draper and the opponent because he's that good sort of middle ground. And the bridge, he's a good bridge, that's the word I'm looking for, between everyone else and Alcaraz and Sinner. And I feel like Musetti's also a bridge to some extent on the clay.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's difficult to know where his mindset is at will he ever conquer the demons that are the mental side of the game against the biggest players? When he comes up against Alcaraz, there's always going to be another level that you're going to have to push your body to. He's been there, but the one thing I'd say that does give me encouragement about Lorenzo Musetti, and when you compared him to Casper Ruud, I think he is slightly above him because of his sort of attacking intent that he has with his shots. He's really improved his like shot power on the forehand side, especially. He was cracking some amazing winners against Rune tonight, and just trying to finish rallies a bit earlier, even though he was the one. If it went over 9 shots, I think he won pretty much every rally over 9 shots for the last like 2 sets or something. Well done to you for your prediction as well. You said Musetti in 4, so another good one for you there. We both had Musetti through, but I thought it might go the distance. Holger Rune, I think he looked a bit leggy at the end though, because he'd played 5 sets the round before. Didn't look interested right towards the end. I think that's one thing he needs to improve, to be honest, is when the chips are down, he just sort of accepts defeat and allows that loss. Whereas I don't think if Alcaraz was down 5-2 in the 4th set, I think he would battle back and make it into a 5th. But that's the difference in mentality. It can change at different times of the career for people. Maybe this is the time for Lorenzo Musetti. Maybe the mentality's changed. I want to see him versus Alcaraz to see if it has.
The last men's match, Tiafoe, Daniel Altmaier, 2 players a lot of people wouldn't have had reaching this stage. Certainly not many people would have had Tiafoe going this far. I believe it must be the furthest he's ever made it at Roland Garros. Yeah. He's doing everything he needs to do, winning them in straight sets, but his draw's been very nice, let's be fair. It's opened up quite nicely for him. I don't think he was in particularly good form coming into the tournament before, but he's had to beat Svitolina, Buster, Korda, and Altmaier. And Altmaier has been playing well, but you'd expect someone like a Tiafoe to be able to beat him. And he's now becomes the first American man to reach the French Open quarterfinals without dropping a set since Andre Agassi in 1995. Do I think he's got legs this tournament and can progress? No, I don't. I think Musetti will be licking his lips because, for me, that is a straight setter all day, every day. At the very worst, I think it'll be Musetti in 4, but Musetti will be super pleased that his quarterfinal at Roland Garros will be against Francis Tiafoe. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to him. I just think he's been very fortunate.
It is strange because I haven't been singing his praises at all. I said it on one of the other podcasts. In my mind, I've been saying he's going out every round, and Tiafoe's won in straight sets every round. This time, he's up against obviously Musetti, but this is Musetti's favoured surface. Tiafoe's won the last 2 matches they've played, but they were on hardened grass. The only time they played on clay was in Rome. Musetti won, but it did go to 3 sets, and Tiafoe did push him a little bit. This is a better Musetti than back then, and this surface. It's just we should have a different rankings. I think I know, like you keep saying, I think Musetti is top 5 on clay. I think there should be like a grass rankings, clay rankings, hard court rankings. Be quite nice, and then we could see who is the best player. I think Alcaraz is definitely the best player on clay this year for sure. It's only lost 1 match.
Grass as well, right?
Well, yeah, this is it. So it would be interesting to see who, if we could have those rankings out. If someone can knock those up for us, it'd be great, and then we can go through it on the next podcast. But
we can come up with our own rankings for all the surfaces.
Tiafoe would be up there quite high on grass probably as well, but on clay not so much. But he's excelled. I think he's done probably better than he thought he would do in this tournament, Francis Tiafoe. But who's to say? If I keep on thinking he goes out, does he go through again? I mean, surely not. He's going to deny everybody the Musetti Alcaraz if he does win. And everybody, I think, is hoping for that matchup. Unless you're an American, then you're probably hoping for Tommy Paul versus Francis Tiafoe.
Yeah, so I looked at tomorrow, some big matches. Cam Norrie, Djokovic. I see that being straightforward. We've got Bublik, Draper, Sinner, Rublev in the evening session. Battle of the Gingers. And on the women's, Andreeva Kasatkina, my pick of the bunch. I think that's going to be super exciting. Zverev Griekspoors to start things off on the men's. And Coco Gauff will be playing Alexandrova early doors too. So a lot of Americans, women in action. I think you got four ladies from America. On the men's, we have 2 British, so more British on the men than any other nation. So something to get excited for. Unfortunately, I can only see one of the Brits winning, and that's not Cam Norrie.
Yeah, Jack Draper. I'll be cheering him on tomorrow. I've been thinking as well. Obviously, I'm a big supporter of all the British players, and I would love to see Jack Draper win Roland Garros. Don't get me wrong, I would go mad. But then I've been having this like internal dialogue going on over the past few days. What happens if Jack Draper and Novak Djokovic have to play each other? I'm going to be really, really torn inside because you know what a patriot I am for. I've cheered Andy Murray on for all those years. Djokovic, I converted into a Djokovic fan, and now I want to see him win a 25. Well, I would love to see Jack Draper win as well. But obviously we're a long way from that. But that's what's been going on around my mind in the past few days, seeing both of them winning and thinking, could they ever meet each other in the slam? And then I'll have to sit there not knowing who I'm supporting.
I've seen your troll YouTube accounts, Ben, on our YouTube comments attacking JG about Djokovic. I know some of them are definitely you. So on that alone, I'm pretty sure you're going to be supporting Novak Djokovic in that matchup if we get it.
Yeah, Draper's got a few more years left. Yeah, come on, just let Djokovic through. I mean, it's definitely not happening anytime soon. Let's hope Draper wins. Let's hope Djokovic wins, and then who knows? Let's wait and see. We got Sinner Rublev. That would be exciting because Rublev didn't have to play the last round, so should be fresh. But Sinner's pretty fresh as well. I mean, what did he drop? A couple of games.
Yeah, Sinner's playing perfect tennis, so it doesn't really matter about how fresh Rublev is.
Little
He could be
warm-up.
quite fresh as well after the match because it could be done in about an hour and a half. But let's wrap it up there. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you tomorrow for another day of Roland Garros action. And then beyond that, we'll be doing our quarterfinal preview and a few videos surrounding that where we'll give our own predictions every match and record our predictions and give results at the end to see who gets the better pick. So make sure to join us and play along at home, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Enjoy Roland Garros, and we'll see you soon.